assume it can be a multiple inheritance, or it can be some multi-level inheritance, right? So base class, then it is going to have a derived class 1, derived class 2. We assume it as a multiple inheritance. Base class followed by derived class 1 followed by derived class 2. Then we are going to assume these items as a multi-level inheritance, right? When filling these concepts, we need to understand two derivative parts. One derivative part as generalization, another part as specialization. One part we need to understand as generalization, another part we need to call it as a specialization. So what is generalization, what is specialization, we will come across. Assume there was a MBBS doctor. Then he can give a drug, he can give a medicine to headache, to body pain, to like all the general items he is going to take. Assume a person has a diabetic, then he is going to move to a diabetes. At that time, the specialization was for diet, right? Assume a person had his leg fracture or a hand fracture, then he is not going to move to a MBBS doctor, right? He will move to a orthopedic doctor because his specialization was to work on a fractures, either a hand fracture or a leg fracture. Assume a person is having a trouble in his kidneys, then he has to visit to a dialysis where the person he goes at specialization is going to work on kidney section. So similarly, a person is going to have some problem in his brain. At that time, again, he is not going to visit to a MBBS doctor. He is going to visit to another specialized doctor who is going to work on a neurologist. So generalization, it can attend to all. Generalization, it can attend to all. To entire body, it is going to work. If it is having some problem in his nose or ear or eyes, in his nose, mouth, or yeah, then he is going to move to an ENT doctor. So there are specializations: ENT specialization, diabetic specialization, neurology specialization, orthopedic specialization, dental specialization. So there are specializations which deal with some specific set of attributes. So we call the word as a specialization. Similarly, there are some characteristics which are going to be common and which are specific. There are some attributes which are going to be a common attributes, and there are some attributes which are going to be very specific. Okay, now I am going to say contract employee. I am going to call it as a contract employee, and his ID is contract ID. That means what we have to assume, it is specific there. It is going to be a specific. Then assume we are going to have a name. Name can be towards a permanent employee and name can be towards an employee who is going to be a contract. Then we are going to call it as a general, or we are going to call it as a common. Got it? So if I am putting the things in common, it is going to be public. It is going to be called as public variables. When we are going to put it in a base class, when we are going to make it as a base class, and if it is putting in a public mode, then what is the interpretation? All the things in derived class 1, all the things in derived class 2 can use the data members and data members of base class. All the data members and member functions of a base class as it is made as public. So all the items as SSN, name, LOT given in an employee can be accessed to the contract employee also. That is what we are going to mention, the two words. One, specialization, another we are going to call it as generalization. In generalization, the things are going to be general, common. The things which are going to be in a base class are going to be public, and it can be accessed by all type of employees. So here you can see there is an employee called employee ID called as contract ID. So contract ID is meant for only the contract employee. It is not meant for the permanent employee. So this value we are going to call it as private. Why we are mentioning it as private? It is in the derived class and it is meant only for the employees who are contract but not to the permanent. Therefore, we are going to assume those as a private entities. So we talked about is a relation which it is going to follow the levels of granularity as base class and derived class, etc. Second, we talked about two more words. One word which is going to be public, we call it as generalization. Two, we are going to call it as a private, which we are going to call it as specialization. In dealing with public, in dealing with generalization and specialization, we need to understand two words. One we are going to call it as overlapping constraints and covering constraints. We need to understand overlapping constraints to covering constraints. One we are going to call it as overlapping, another we are going to call it as covering. If the constraints are going to be public, that is, if it is going to be generalized, that is public mode, that means the items are going to be in the base class, we call those items as covering constraints. It can be applicable to permanent employee or it can be implemented to contract employee, right? It can be implemented to permanent employee or it can be implemented to contract employee. So such items we are going to call it as a generalized items, public items, and the constraints which are imposed in this mode we are going to call them as covering constraints. We are going to call them as covering constraint. Next, we are going to call them as overlapping constraints. I just get back here. So I will take back the words. I'm erasing all the contents here. So I will just take back my words, and I'm extremely sorry to confuse you this topic. So one we are going to call it as covering constraints. Another we are going to call it as overlapping constraints. Up to here it is correct. Covering constraints will be with private mode. Overlapping constraints will be with the public mode. The things which are generalized, it is called as a overlapping. The things which are specific, we are going to call it as covering. So I just told you in a opposite way. The explanation is to be mapped to the exact words. I just mapped to the reverse words. That was the thing. So if it is overlapping, that means it can fit in first set, it can fit in second set. So we are going to call it as overlapping. It can fit in first set, it can fit in second set. Therefore, we are going to call that item as a overlapping. So we are going to call it as a public, or we are going to call that one as a generalized. If it is fitting in this position, if it is fitting in this position A, B, C here. So C, it can be a overlap constraint because it can fit in set 1, it can fit in set 2. But whereas the item B, whereas the item A, they are specific to hourly employees, they are specific to the contract employees. Therefore, we are going to call that entities as a covering items, and there they are going to work in a mode called as a private mode, and such entities we are going to call it as a specific items. So that is all regarding one. We talked about this entities covering a constraint. Now, after this item, we need to move upon to things called as aggregation. We need to move upon to a word called as aggregation. Is the screen shared, please? Can you acknowledge? Is aggregation visible to you? Yes or no? Are you able to see the screen aggregation?
Yes,
Can you
sir.
please acknowledge once?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
So, now let us talk about aggregation. When we are going to call it as an aggregate, I put the things into levels. I can put the things into levels A, B, C. C is going to be based on C1, C2, C3. Okay, C I am going to put it as 100 rupees. How I am going to get 100 rupees? I am going to put C1 as 50, C2 as 30, C3 as 20. Then I am going to put the C1 plus C2 plus C3. C1 plus C2 plus C3 is equals to 100, and this 100 I am going to write. So I put a plus button here. So when I am going to hit on the plus button, it shows C1, C2, C3. Sum of C1, C2, C3 is equals to 100 rupees. So what is this method called? It is in Excel. It is called as some pivoting, and this pivoting we do call a word called as a aggregation. We are going to call that word as an aggregation. So holistically, number of participating entities is 1, 2, 3. Number of participating entities is only 3. But originally, participating entities are 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. That you should understand. Okay? Originally, as I am going to put a dotted line between all the items, I am going to get the summation of that value, and that summation value I am going to use it here. But originally, how I am going to get the summation value? It is a composition of 3 internal items. Similarly, I am going to have an employee set as division 1, moderator untils as division 2, and projects sponsors department as division 3. I can see abstractly only 3 items, but if I hit on plus button, if I go inside, then I can say it is 50 plus 30 plus 20. Fine. Assume second CSE A 60 students, second CSE B 60 students, second CSE C 60 students. Total I am going to call it as 180. Then if I click on second CSE B and who are that 180, if I say I can get 565, 66, 67. But holistically I get only 60 items. If I move inside, then I can know the detail of those 60 items. So such is what the concept we are going to allow as an aggregation. We are going to call that one as an aggregation. So in aggregation, we get a summated value of the entities. We are going to get the summated value of the entities, and thereby we are going to build up a relation, and thereby we make that entities as the aggregated value. Fine. Now, how is this aggregation working? Now we can see the first entity set SSN name LOT. It belongs to employee. Then employee, he is going to monitor. He is going to monitor what? He is going to monitor the projects. He is going to have the projects which are going to be sponsored to the department. So here you can see a dark line here, and that dark line, it is belonging to a department, and department it is going to have projects. Projects are going to be sponsored from one duration to another duration. It is little bit confusing. Now I am taking time to explain these items. Fine. Assume the department is there and there is some sponsorship. There is one sponsorship called as a DST, another is some SCRP. In this way there are two projects. Assume there is a project 1, there is another project 2. So there is a project which is sponsored by DST. So Government of India is sponsoring one project under DST. Assume there is another project called as SCRP project, which is project again supported by Government of India. So every project is going to be identified with a number, when it is going to start and how much is it. Whether it is a 50 lakh project, whether it is a 35 lakh project, whether it is a 1 crore project, how much is the budget of that project we are going to give. That is one aspect. The first aspect is project is sponsored by some third party. It can be a DST, it can be a SCRP. Assume there are some center of excellences which are established by the college as IoT or IBM or Infosys. So there are some center of excellences. So those center of excellences, they do have a recognition with what is their aim, project ID, when it was started and how much budget it is going to be allocated to it. That is mentioned. So that is part 1. Next one, sponsors. Who are the sponsors? It can be DST, it can be SEB. Well, assume it is some industry. Assume it is from industry. I can say it is from IBM, it is come from TCS, or it is from Infosys. I'm going to have some sponsor. Who are the sponsors? So it is DST or SEB. Assume IPL matches are going to happen. Assume IPL matches are going to happen. Who is the sponsor? We are saying Mumbai Indians, we are going to say Deccan Chargers, we are going to call it as Chennai Super Kings. So who are these people? People are going to be called as sponsors. So those people, they are supporting the team. They are providing all logistics, they are paying the employee fees, they are going to give advertisements, etc. Everything is related to money and that is sponsored by them. Got it? So every project is going to have an ID, when it is going to start and how much is the budget involved. Next one. To whom this project is sanctioned? To which department? It can be to an IT department, it can be to a EC department, it can be to a CSE department. So department is identified with department ID, department name and budget. Now again, DST project is sanctioned to an employee called as 603. Assume a DST project was sanctioned to an employee called as 603. So this person is going to have an ID called as SSN, and he is going to monitor the project. He is going to monitor the project. Now let us put the entire scenario here. The person name, the person ID is 603. He is monitoring a project called as DST. The DST ID is given by PID. It is started in this much. It is going to be a 35 lakhs project, and it is going to be sponsored by DST. That person, it is going to belong to a department called as CS. So the total number of implications you can observe. One, the employee. 2, he is going to monitor. 3, he is going to have number of projects. The project is sponsored by the party, and to which department it is going to belong. I will just quickly erase and I will write it again. So 1, it is going to be employee ID. 2, it is going to monitor. 3, it is going to be the project, DST project or SCRB project. So employee ID is 603. He is taking care of the project. Then sponsors. Sponsors are DST, sponsors are SER. So the ID I am going to give, the ID, DST ID or the SERP ID. It is going to be the project ID. Then department, it belongs to a department called as CS. So total number of entities 1, 2, 3, 4 and 5. But what it is showing? It is showing only one set, that it is going to give a complete set as a 3, and this concept we are going to call it as aggregation. This concept we are going to call it as an aggregation. So aggregation, it is going to put up a descriptive attribute. It is going to give a distinct attribute relationship with a descriptive attribute. So that is what it is going to be highlighted at this point. And only one employee is going to monitor. I told just employee ID 603. It is going to monitor the project. He is dealing with sponsors and he is going to belong to some department. So this person, it is going to be with the SS. So that is all for this topic. So in the conceptual design, we talked about the higher level of abstraction. In this higher level of abstraction, we talked about key constraints. In this key constraints, we mentioned with one not null. We mentioned with unique item. Then we mentioned with primary key. Then we mentioned with foreign key. Then we talked about participation constraints. That is strong entity. We call it as weak entity. So that is, we call it as participation. Next, we went with overlapping constraints and covering constraints. Overlapping constraints, we call it as public constraints, and which is taken from base class. Covering constraints. So covering constraints, it is meant as a private constraint and it is from derived class. So it is built with a easy hierarchy. Then we went with this word called as the last item, that is nothing but the aggregation. We call it as an aggregation, and this aggregation we meant with a foreign key references between 5 items. Holistically, we built a relation with the aggregated item. So that is all for the content here. Continue the class. So after this, I will stop the recording.